Hello world, curses and madness be upon you all my friends. I am Euclidean Vision, the emotional support, and I hope you've been enjoying this sort of looser style of video, because I'm back again with another tier list. Today we're going to be discussing the Overwatch backstories for only the existing heroes. Like I've got my other characters sort of in this list, but it's just easier to keep them there. So we're going to be looking at the Overwatch hero backstories, how cool they are, how interesting they are, how sort of well they're executed on, and sort of how well they're presented as well. And to sort of start us off in that vein, I'm going to start out right down here, because the meme that Zen has no lore is right. He doesn't have a lot, but for the very small amount that Zenyatta has to him, it's a really strong idea in the first place, and it's just really well executed upon, that you don't need much more than the Zenyatta that we have to understand Zenyatta, and to understand the sort of ideas and themes that his character is looking at. Zenyatta believes you have a soul, and he believes that he does too, and I don't think anyone is really going to take that away from him. There is also the point to sort of consider, I guess, that his brother was assassinated by Talon, and regardless of what he says about how he feels about it, it'd be interesting to maybe see exactly how he actually feels about that. So, moving on then, we're going to go to Azaria next. I'm going to go in reverse order just because it was easier to start with Zen and sort of put my mindset out there from the beginning. Azaria, I'm going to put it like a B. Like, her background as an athlete is kind of one of the more sort of particular out there sort of ideas for what can constitute an oddity or a hero, and she's got a lot of personal dilemmas sort of in her relationship to Omnix, but she's actually sort of dealing with those dilemmas along with upholding sort of the secret of how her country is able to keep running. So there's a lot going for Azaria in terms of like originality, but I'd sort of like to see those elements explored a bit more, like how her athleticism sort of does contribute to why she does what she does. Maybe seeing when she tore that laser cannon off the tank for the first time. Getting to see her actually enact on her soldier attitudes would be really cool. I do actually kind of think it's cool that Searching especially shows not only how she deals with dilemmas, but also that she's a lot smarter than you sort of maybe would commonly sort of think Azaria to be. Yeah, sort of the way that Azaria deals with things at times, she shows that she's, you know, she's actually a pretty sharp tool in there. But yeah, because it's not on the level of fucking robot monk with magic powers, yeah, Azaria's gonna sit in a nice comfortable B. She's one of the more realistic, relatable concepts, which could actually jump them up a tier in your book. I like Overwatch because it's so fucking out there. So yeah, Azaria I think is a really good... Go on. Yeah, there we go. Hamster. He's goofy, he's kind of dumb. His story isn't really exploring much. I used to hate the little shit. I absolutely adore him now. He's a good execution on the character, but there's just not really enough of a character there. Or enough of a story there, if that makes any more sense. Winston, by comparison, is at least a B. If not, we'll stick him into A tier as well. Yeah, Winston, monkey scientist from the moon. I mean, it kind of makes you want to bump Hamster up a spot just because he's a goofy hamster from the moon. No, that's all you are. At least Winston has more to him. I wish they'd explore sort of the difference between him being an animal and humans, and how he sort of relates to them in a different way and stuff. But yeah, Winston is this really stern, sort of bookish, classic, he should have been the scientist that made the ape from the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, there's loads of tropes going on in here that I think are really good. That's sort of an element of how I'm ranking these characters as well, like the references to what their influences are, personally are actually kind of impactful to me. So, Widowmaker. Really cool story. It just needs expanding. I like that it's left in mystery at present, but I'd like to learn if we know the whole truth. Because I have a feeling that the story we have about Widowmaker is unreliable to some degree. I don't know exactly what. There's a few ways you could take that. Whether she felt she had to kill Gerard and couldn't do so because of her emotional ties to him, and so had her emotions removed in order to be able to do something for the greater good, say. Or Gerard isn't dead, and she's taken all this on herself to give him cover. Like, that'd be really cool. That would, like, that would jump her up at least a spot. That'd be a really interesting dynamic for her character to take. Tracer, I'm also going to stick... Yeah, I'm going to stick her... here. Like, she has the potential to go up here, as Zen does. Like, these two have the potential to be S tier. Just that, like, Zen doesn't have enough lore, and Tracer to me is just like either a little wishy-washy or a little inconsistent. To me, her theme is that like placing oneself at risk in order to assist progress or to help, and that doesn't always come over, or that it's not as sort of overtly a theme of hers as it is sort of just like hope for the better. Yeah, do you know? Like, I think there's more interesting stuff they could do with Tracer, both in terms of her powers and in terms of her sort of like philosophy on the world. We also don't know exactly why she's so fond of Omnics. That would be also really interesting to explore. So yeah, because there's a few elements of Tracer's character that aren't sort of like backed up hugely. You know, I like the expansion that she's in a lesbian relationship, things like that are just really nice for fleshing out like actual character. But yeah, there's that, and this is why Tracer doesn't get S tier. Well, Sigma is just Tracer, but executed just... his origin story is it's just directed so fucking well. Like, it's one of the best sort of pieces of media in the Overwatch universe. His story is actually dealing with like the consequences of science taken upon oneself, and sort of how you can frame that in like a positive light. That yeah, the guy has suffered a terrible accident and lost his mind, essentially. But he feels that he's gained like a greater understanding of the universe, and he also has the ability to manipulate gravity. So yeah, Sigma is going to be our first S tier. He's not the only one, but yeah, there's a few reasons why I believe that Sigma takes this spot for what is actually quite a similar backstory, or at least origin point, if you will. Torbjorn, he's not as really tied to the Omnic Crisis as someone like Dr. Liao. Where the hell is she? He's not actually as tied to the Omnics as Liao is. He like maybe feels responsible for building sort of like the mechanics for it, and that's at least being explored. So yeah, he definitely goes above Hamster. But yeah, I don't know. There's actually, oh no, Torbjorn also has sort of the familial aspect with Brigitte, although Reinhardt seems to have a far closer relationship with Brigitte, so maybe that detracts from Torbjorn a little bit. Although, is that not part of their relationship, that Torbjorn cared more about his machines than he did his daughter? That'd be nice to explore, please. Yeah, Torbjorn for me, like, he's the engineer dwarf. Of course he is. It's less of an interesting character trope than Monkey from the Moon, or time-traveling lesbian, or blue spider lady who's called Widowmaker and dresses sexily but is not really shown to seduce anyone, and also lacks emotions, so wouldn't really be able to seduce anyone. You're an odd one. You are, Widowmaker. We'll come back to... No, we won't come back to you. We're going to move on to Symetra. See, I really like Symetra. We don't know enough of her origin. We know that she came from poverty, and her skills helped sort of push her into Vishkar's limelight. She's incredibly skilled through different means. She's potentially on the autistic spectrum. Like, how she works is actually quite different to the rest of the cast. And she's got, like, strong theme of, like, the ideal of order. Yeah, you can go up at least... Not there, sorry. Yeah, Winston, I'm going to drop you down. There's not enough explored. Your theme isn't as clear as it is with maybe some of these. And actually, Tracer, you need to drop down as well, because you've got a cool origin. you're cool in what you are, but you just don't execute on it as well at times. Yeah, we're gonna leave that like that. Symetra's, yeah, she's got the whole deal of like how she believes order sort of influences the world, and as Zenyatta says, that's not always the case. In comparison to, say, Sanjay, who believes that sort of control is the more important side of order. Like, Symetra just wants the world to be ordered. That would be nice. Sanjay's the kind of character who sort of wants to control that and to put the world in order. But you're not part of the tier list, Sanjay, so fuck off, get out of here. You are largely dead inside, so no, we're not putting you on there. Best girl. Oh, yeah, you're definitely going in the A tier. Explores some bigger sides of the lore of the world, which also Sigma does with the subject program. That's so fucking Lovecraftian, that, but I really want to see what that place is about, and I hope that we sort of never do. But yeah, Sombra brings us into the idea of the eye, or the iris, which also, we don't know how connected these things are. Her backstory is really interesting in that she's come from poverty again and built herself up. These two have got quite a lot of nice contrasts between them. And she's one of the most wholesome villains. Like, she just doesn't want to be seen. She's socially distancing herself. Yeah, she doesn't want people to know who she is, and I think that actually speaks a lot to her character, that she's really scared of getting close to people. And I think on like a personal level, maybe a lot of what she says is bullshit. And the fact that it's bullshit is an exploration of the character that she is. She's trying to make up for what she feels is a lacking person, and there's so much you could explore with Sombra on like a personal level, never mind the fact of she's using talent for her own ends to come to this world-spanning government conspiracy or whatever the eye is. And yeah, I really enjoy how she's executed upon in all the media that she's done. Like, these two, their voice actresses are fucking incredible, and they bring so much sort of charisma to the characters, especially like Infiltration. Sombra's just got so much sass, it's great. Soldier. You keep sort of not living up to the whole "I'm not a hero" thing. Like, he's Captain America, he was the leader. He's pretty standard. I would kind of like to see, like, Soldier could push into A tier if we see him taking revenge a bit too far. Like, him actually going down the slope that he's sort of angry at himself for going down would be a really interesting exploration. Again, I like that they've fleshed out his backstory, like how much duty means to him. His themes are pretty strong, but they're also pretty fucking standard. So yeah, sorry Soldier, as ever, you're going to just be right in the middle of the pack. Like, Soju, we don't know enough about you to really speak about you at present, I don't think. Hog's definitely gonna go... Yeah, Hog goes up at least here. I'm gonna put him there. Because I like Hog's themes, like, playing with the idea of revolution, and when the powers in place don't work correctly, or don't aim to sort of work in terms of the greater good. Yeah, like, every action you take has consequences. I guess that's essentially Roadhog in a nutshell. And yeah, he's got a really striking character design. He's a really fun dude. He'll never take the mask off. There's, again, that bit of Lovecraftian-esque element to him. Roadhog's a good dude. We'll keep him up there. Rhine, Honor and Glory, at least, just for sheer emotional value, gets us up, like, here. Yeah, I don't even, like, he's also really funny, like, the whole Don Quixote thing. Again, it's been explored in actually a pretty sort of realistic way, I think, which is actually quite good with, like, the Dragons comic. Reaper, right, you're kind of a joke until you consider that you might be doing it all on purpose. Yeah, I really don't know about Reaper. What we have is too vague. Aside from Retribution personally puts him at least in here somewhere. Because he's playing with some huge, like, moral themes of, like, how you enact justice. That's really fucking cool. So yeah, Gabriel Reyes goes here. Reaper goes either here or there, if he's using the Reaper to try and enact, like, social change by making everybody so scared of the Reaper that nobody does anything bad to anybody else. But yeah, for now... Okay, boop. There we go. We'll put you nicely in the middle. Farah, she's got a nice sort of... She's got the more interesting familial connection that's, like, overtly out there, but it's not... Your side of things really hasn't been dealt with. We haven't seen anything from Farah in so fucking long. Like, we used her to sort of expand on Anubis and stuff, but that's not her story, Anubis, essentially, do you know? So yeah, Farah's gonna say the one with B tier. Am I even put her down into C tier? No, she's got, like, the fact of who she is and why she's come to the place that she is, I think is actually way more interesting than at least Torbjorn. But she's let down by the fact that it just hasn't really been expanded upon properly, and it's sort of there to be sort of sat and used eventually, hopefully. Irisa, with the release of Echo, I'm really just sort of gutted for Irisa at present. But no, hers is actually really interesting, and it would be if it had been explored more. Yeah, I'm gonna put you to the top of B tier. Yeah. Irisa needs to learn more, but in terms of what she is and why she exists, there's a lot of cool themes playing in there about sort of maintaining the security of a home life and exploring the nature of how a city relates to its people and what Omnics mean to the world and what Irisa means to Ify, what Ify means to Irisa. Yeah, there's a lot to explore there, but again, it hasn't been explored too much. So we definitely can't explore Null Hector. Oh, Moira. Oh, I'd be kind of tempted. I'm actually sort of tempted to put her up there. I think she's a really good execution on the mad scientist idea. The trope, obviously. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into that. I'm just going to stick Moira there, and if you've got a problem with it, well, this doesn't really affect you, so get over it. Mercy. Valkyrie definitely helped expand her character a chunk and her sort of inner conflicts. But at the end, she's just like, well, I gotta be a hero, so I will be. Which I guess has merit in ways, and I guess it doesn't. Yeah, okay. Yeah, bottom of A tier. Okay. We're gonna shift this all around a little bit. Yeah, that's much more suitable. Yeah, okay, we'll go there. No. Yeah, okay, we'll go like that. May's is pretty... May, at least for execution, May at least gets up here somewhere. She's got a really cool backstory. Like, she's one of the very few sort of, like, proper normal person heroes. So in fact, yeah, May's gonna get up fucking here somewhere. Yeah, we'll go with that. Mccree, I really want to put you down here, mate. I'm afraid. No, I mean, you're doing... But yeah, okay, that's fine. Man, I really want to put Mauga in here. I feel like we've got enough of his character, like, compared to some of these other characters. I feel we really have enough of a sense of this guy and his, like, philosophy on the world to at least put him up fucking here somewhere. Mauga gets an honorary spot because he's actually that well fleshed out of a character from the little we have. Lucio. Again, he's gonna go up fucking here somewhere. I think there's a really cool execution on the idea of, yeah, a non-standard military, a non-military, non-standard hero. He's also got really sort of... he's got a big edge in his sort of social influence as well. Like, what he's done, he's a revolutionary, but he's been framed from a more positive aspect than someone like Roadhog. Yeah, Lucio, I think, is a really strong character, like, executed on really well. Okay, Dr. Liao also gets a special spot for being functionally immoral. Like, she goes there. She's not around anymore, and therefore Echo goes up here. I actually really... The more I've thought about it, I don't like the ramifications for the rest of the cast, but the more that I've thought about what Echo is and what she is to Dr. Liao, how sort of fleshed out they've managed to be over time through very little, yeah, I'm actually going to put Echo up in S tier. I'm really surprised that I'm doing this. Like, I have my issues, but for what she is, I mean, at present, she's like a Nexus 6. she's seen C-beams glittering off the Tannhauser gate. Or more, she's more like Kay from Blade Runner 2049. But she has the potential to become like Eleanor Lamb from Bioshock 2. Holy shit, that's fucking cool. And she's a fucking robot. She's like she's like the major. She's like the major at the end of Ghost in the Shell 1. Holy fuck. Yeah, okay, the more I think about Echo, the more I enjoy her. And the more my issues sort of abate. Yeah, but I'm going to put her at the bottom of S tier because I do still have my issues with the really cool concept and the really well done execution. Like, Sigma, my boy, is really topping this out at present still. Junkrat, I hate to be this guy about it. I don't find a lot interesting about Junkrat. Like, he's one of the simpler... no, his character... okay, he's embodying the whole Mad Max thing. He's got this whole Joker vibe going on. Okay, he goes there. I'm sorry, Hamster, like... I feel bad doing that, almost. Do you know? But, you're a hamster from the moon. No, because that's a monkey from the... Winston's a monkey from the moon. We already did you. Junker Queen, Iris, Hanzo and Genji. I'm going to put them both in A tier. But... Hanzo's story isn't as far through as Genji's is. Like, Genji's personal sort of character arc is way more complete. But Hanzo's has way more to do with him and his brother's dilemma. Like, more of Genji's dilemma was sort of accepting himself and his physical representation of himself because of the accident. Like, he's already forgiven Hanzo, essentially. He gets it. Hanzo is the one who hasn't forgiven himself. Which actually, yeah, Hanzo then puts himself above Genji, personally, because that's a more interesting storyline to be exploring going forward. All Genji needed in Storm Rising was Sojourn to be like, am I Sojourn? And he was like, yeah, you are. And she was like, so shut the fuck up then. So, yeah, a lot of Genji's issues are, I think, maybe like slightly overblown in times and very inconsistent, because at times he seems to doubt his humanity, but at other times interactions he's very confident in who and what he is through the help of this guy, which is also another boon to this guy's sort of placing. Yeah, I do feel that Hanzo does sort of outstrip Genji in this, even though Genji is Grey Fox, he's a cyborg ninja, which is obviously fucking cool, and Hanzo's just grumpy bow man. Alright, okay, they both sit at the bottom of A tier. Dragons is also like incredibly well executed upon, so yeah, that's really cool there. Doom. Ooh, okay, Doom, yeah, you go pretty fucking high, actually. It's strong ideology, really sort of well represented personally as well. Like, we haven't got enough of... No, we do have enough of, like, him as a person, like, his personal beliefs. Like, he's about personal strength. He's an objectivist, to an extent. But the guy has got at least a point that conflict breeds progress. He's definitely building on one of the huge themes of Overwatch that I feel exists about the whole battle between ends versus means. Like, this guy is literally the definition of ends versus means and what that results in. So yeah, I really like Doomfist. I think it's a really cool execution. Even though there's that sort of slight dissonance in that a guy with such strong, like, philosophies and sort of business savvy is a guy who just punches things. Do you know? But then moving on to... See, before Shooting Star, I would have put her up here. Because I thought it was meant to be a subversion. I thought that Diva literally was like a construct. She sort of is, but more a construct of Hannah's song than a construct of essentially the Korean government at this point. Yeah, again, like someone like Azaria, interesting take, like interesting way in, cool flex, but okay? Like, oh, she is actually a a gamer girl. Yes, she suffers, but I mean, a lot of these characters are suffering underneath it. Yeah, I don't know, shooting star rubbed me the wrong way a lot. I feel that there's so much more nuance you could add to Diva's character, and so much more extreme ends you could take her to as well. So yeah, okay. Diva takes the top of B tier because she annoys me. She could be in it. No, okay, I mean, she goes above those two. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. That leads us on to Gita. The Squire, like, I think she was really well built up over time. There's more to be made of her relationship with Torbjorn and with Reinhardt. I'm just going to stick her up next to Reinhardt. No, she doesn't have the same emotional depth that Reinhardt has given us thus far. I think she's a cool idea, and she's an amazing execution on, like, the paladin trope, if you will. No, there's not enough going on in her backstory. Yeah, it's just sort of really positive. Yay, it's nowhere near as, like, morally nuanced or as interesting at face value as, like, some of these. Like, the difference between what Genji and Hanzo have been through as characters compared to what Brigitta's been through? Yeah, no competition. Ooh. Fight me. Baptiste. Baptiste, where can we put you? Because your backstory is really... your backstory is actually interesting on paper. It's just we haven't seen any of the sort of exploration of the moral nuance of realizing that he was doing wrong. Okay, so we're going to stick you down here. I'm actually going to stick you there as well. Yeah, that's fine. Bap, sorry mate, you're going down next to your boy. Mauga is more interesting than you. I think that's what this is pointing out here. Ash, oh my girl, I hate to do this to you. I so hate to do it to you. You were an afterthought. Your backstory is relatively interesting, coming from wealth and not actually getting on with the family lifestyle and going to make a family, but you've already made it. We're not seeing any of that character develop. Fine. Fine. Anna sadly has to overshadow her daughter just out of sheer fact of it's been explored way more from her perspective. Yeah, she's got definitely the more explored familial dilemma of the characters existing. But yeah, again, I find Anna, sort of like how I mentioned with Tracer, I occasionally find her... Having read Bastet and Valkyrie, I'm not sure what her character is deciding to do and why. So, like, her reasoning always feels a lot really, like, muddied to me. She's like, oh, I wasn't who I was, but I'm still me. But I should still do the right thing. Alright, but you've just realised a different way to do the right thing. You weren't doing exactly the wrong thing, you just got shot. Like, you hesitated because you cared about someone. Well done. Like, you're a good person. That's fine. So yeah, Anna annoys me a little bit because it feels like... I don't know why she isn't forgiving herself, or that dilemma isn't presenting itself as clearly as it maybe could be with some of these other characters can. So yeah, I could throw some of these in here, but nah, I'm not going to. I figure that sticking to the core cast and only introducing the additional characters where they're fleshed out enough or are enough of a particularity. Oh, in that case, we could definitely do Lynx then. Like, Lynx at least goes up next to Azaria through being sort of a definitive Omnic stance on things to contrast against her. And, like, Lynx has got fucking tons of sass, really interesting character. We just don't have any backstory per se. So, yeah, then you could do Sven. Sven, actually, strong themes of, like, deterrence. But there's also possibly the twist that, yeah, he is doing it all for the money, and then we can look at sort of the crime of war profiteering. Sven could be really fucking interesting, man, at least theme-wise. I'm gonna stick him in at least B, and in fact, he used a fucking Titan. And he's got a relationship, like, dude can go to the bottom of A tier. He keeps surprising me. Junker Queen, we don't have enough on you. Max, alright, we've seen enough of you to make at least a judgment. To have the influence that the guy has, for having seemingly no abilities, but having like really strong theming in the power of money, and theoretically the use of others, there we go, we'll stick Max in here. No, he hasn't got as well-developed philosophy as someone like Mauga or Baptiste. He believes there are no good people left, and this guy for certain believes that there are, and that he's trying to be one. Max is a bit too dubious. I mean, I love the character design, actually, like a robot casino owner who loves money, which is a distinctly human thing, and gambles and lies and fuck you all, I won't do what you tell me. Max goes into not the top of A tier. You're not as good as Zen. You're not as good as Zen, Max. Fuck off. There we go. Right. Yeah, I think that's my complete list. So we don't have enough on any of these other characters. Okay, we have enough on Sanjay. Strong theming of order. Yeah, okay, you can go there. Yeah, okay, that's my final list. Like, the other mecha pilots, not enough to explore, really. Sojin, we just don't know enough about her, I'm afraid. Null Hector, we know nothing about, aside from that he's potentially the leader of Null Sector. The Junker Queen... The Junker Queen... Yeah, we don't know enough about her individually either, except that she has a connection to good old Hogboy. The Iris, we know nothing. Athena... Oh, okay, we've had enough sort of contact with Athena to at least stick her somewhere up like here. She can go next to her creator, because she's a fucking cool character, but we need to see more from her. And as we've actually seen way more of Irisa as a developing AI, an already sort of grown AI, yeah, maybe not as interesting. Depends where they take her. I'd really like to see what they can do with Athena, especially as they now tied her back to Dr. Liao and Echo. But, yeah, having gotten rid of my sort of outliers, that is my rankings for the Overwatch backstories, or even just sort of like the characters themselves, like how well they're executed upon. As I said, fight me, because The Last Bastion is easily the best bit of cinematic storytelling that the Overwatch universe has to offer. Like, if Sigmas had used not a single word, it would be up here. Like, it would maybe have overtaken. Like, the sense that Sigmas gives you, like, that proper, like, cosmic horror, abstract, mind-bending, like, sensation, it's fucking amazing. Bastion can make you feel scared and, like, incredibly positive about life, all without saying a single fucking word. So yeah, Bastion hits top spot there. If you have any arguments against my choices, if you think that anybody should move up or down, or if you just want to make a list for yourself to compare, hit me up in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video like yesterday's on sort of the lore power rankings. Tomorrow I'm going to do either the potential sort of future stories, which I've sort of brought into this a little bit. So yeah, nah, we won't do that. Take that as sort of this, although potential stories would change. People like Farah, she'd go up like there, or at least here somewhere. So yeah, okay, tomorrow might be potential stories, tomorrow might be who could die. I think that's actually kind of a funny one to talk about. Or we could do sort of like the best designed hero. I'll sort of see what we come to when I wake up tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed again. Take care of yourselves out there, teammates. I hope to see you again next time. I've been Euclidean Vision, the emotional support. Go in peace, and may the glorious light of Beskil shine within you. Bye-bye.